y'all. So, just wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind this past week. So, I listened to this podcast called Terrible Things for Asking, and the most recent episodes have been about adverse childhood experiences, which, look it up because I'm not very good at describing what that means, but just look up like ACEs or the ACEs questionnaire and you'll find out. It's essentially like things that happen to you in your childhood that increase your risk for having like health struggles. And so the more things you answer yes to, the more chances you have of having troubles. I mean, and a lot of that stuff has to do with, like having divorced parents or like alcoholic parents, drug addicted parents, things like that. And obviously I never experienced any of that. Things like were you neglected, were you ever hungry, things like that. I never experienced the stuff on the questionnaire, but it really got me thinking about, what if there was a questionnaire like that for LGBT kids, especially transgender, or I should say LGBT people, especially adults who come out later in life, especially transgender people who weren't able to transition in childhood. I feel like the effects of not being able to express yourself properly really just could be the same as those kind of feelings from the ACEs questionnaire. I just don't know. And I personally can't really remember a lot of my childhood. It's kind of like a black hole. I know it existed, and I can't really remember what it was like. I just know I felt really bad all the time. And so I'm just wondering psychologically and physiologically and, whatever, how that has affected me. Because I know some of the things from the ACEs questionnaire, if the more answers you have yes, the more chances you have of having alcohol addiction or things like that, or drug addiction, cancer, things like that. So it's like, obviously I got the alcohol addiction thing. So I wonder how much of that, is literally like because of like trauma I had as a kid from not being able to express myself properly. And having dysphoria can be traumatic. It's like a long-term thing that I experienced, and so I'm really curious how that has affected me. And I can't remember if I said things to my parents or to other adults like, I feel like a boy, or when am I going to be a boy, or things like that. I think they just thought I was a tomboy. I'm not sure if I vocalized and they ignored it. I honestly can't remember it. And Hannah and I were talking about this the other day, and she made a good point. Maybe I was trying to express that, but I was saying it in a way that they didn't understand. For example, I think she said something like, maybe you said, my hair I don't feel good because of my hair, or my hair makes me sick, or something like that, where they're like, oh, you're not sick because of your hair, you're sick because you're sick, something like that, where they weren't understanding what I was trying to say, and I didn't have the language to say what I wanted to say. So anyway, I'm really interested in that, and I know I should go back to therapy and probably talk about that, but I'm a little bit scared to kind of open up that and actually start to remember stuff. That scares me. What kind of emotions am I going to be digging up? But obviously I need to. I've had a hard time for my entire life with expressing negative emotions, hence the self-harming and the drinking. Anytime I have a negative emotion or a negative experience, I don't know what to do, and I try and get rid of it. And my other reaction is to react physically. Some things I do remember from being a kid. Whenever I felt something like a negative emotion or couldn't figure out how to express myself, I would try and hurt myself. I would try and break my fingers. I would slam them in a door, or I'd hit them with my dad's hammer, or I'd kick my bedpost a bunch of times so that my foot, just with my bare foot, just kicking it, because I didn't know what to do with all those emotions. And sometimes that still happens. I have these moments where I'm frustrated or feeling sad or angry or something like that, and it just comes bursting out of me, and I have to hit something. A lot of times I have to hit the desk or hit something, or a lot of times I hit myself like this, just because it's I don't know what to do with this feeling. I need to get it out. Obviously I should talk to someone about that, but I wonder how much of that plays off of my childhood experiences and not being able to express myself and not knowing how to do that. Which leads me back to the whole ACEs thing. I feel like there should be some sort of ACE questionnaire for LGBT people, especially people who transition later in life, and see how much of that, I don't know how they can figure out the questions or things like that, but I feel like there is some sort of correlation between like having those kind of struggles and being LGBT, especially being transgender. I mean, obviously transgender people have a highest suicide rate of anyone, 41%. And how much of that is because of this stuff, because I knew something was different about me since I was probably 4 years old, and I just didn't know how to express it. So I had 18 years of that discomfort all the time that had to have an effect on me. So anyway, wow, I'm rambling a lot now, but the podcast episode really just got me thinking about how much your childhood affects your adulthood, and more so than even you think it does. So I recommend listening to that podcast. First of all, it's really good. Look up Terrible Things for Asking, any podcast app. Wicked good podcast. But check out those episodes if you're really interested in hearing more. I don't know. Just thought I'd share my thoughts on that. I will definitely be going back to therapy when I get my new health insurance. Because I'm going to be 26, so I had to get my own, because I can't get on Hannah's until we're married. So hopefully this new one will cover something for a little while. So I know I need to take care of myself here. So anyway, all that, and I'm going to stop talking now. If you watch this whole thing, you're the real MVP, because I just don't feel like I made any sense. But this is how all my videos go, so I suppose y'all shouldn't be surprised. But hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.